If I told you that there was a pill that could make you more creative, help you burn fat, put you in a better mood, and make you more relaxed and less stressed out overall, you would probably pay a pretty high price for that pill. The funny thing is, though, walking does all those things, and yet walking is like this miracle drug that nobody takes. Welcome to the Redeeming Productivity Show. This is the podcast that helps Christians get more done and get it done like Christians. And I'm your host, Reagan Rose. This is something I've actually wanted to talk about for a while on this podcast. It is so just practical and simple, but nobody walks. Like, we do not walk as much as we should. And I've done a bunch of reading on this subject, and I've enjoyed the benefits myself. Walking is a miracle drug. It is a superpower. It is the secret sauce of productivity, but like very few of us in modern times walk and take advantage of all its benefits. So I want to talk to you today about a few of the benefits of walking, how you can get more walking in your life, and how maybe why we don't walk as much as we should, and, encourage you to walk more, be more productive. So I think that this is my thought process on this. I got into walking a few years ago when I moved maybe a mile from my job, mile and a half from my job. And I started walking every day to work. And that was when I really started to realize I'd been missing out. I enjoyed it so much that I ended up selling my other car so that my wife and I, we only had one car because I just walked to work most days. And I started through that process to learn how beneficial walking is, not just for health, but for a bunch of other things. And it really is, I think, the kind of like my productivity secret, just simply walking. And now that I'm working from home, I have needed to schedule in a daily walk, but I'm getting those same benefits, and I feel it when I skip it, that I don't have the same level of productivity that day than when I do. But I think the hard thing is for me, and maybe for you too, maybe you already know how beneficial walking is. I'm going to go through all the reasons you should be walking in a minute. But I think what happens is we kind of get dialed into our work, and we feel like, well, to be productive, I need to power through what I'm doing, keep my butt in the chair. But what I found is that often the best thing you can do for your productivity is to take a break. And I think one of the best ways to take a break is simply to go for a walk. So let's talk about the numerous benefits of walking. But first, let's talk about the history of walking. The history of walking is long and varied. But seriously, think about the beginning of time, the beginning of mankind. Think about the way our bodies were designed by God. It is so clear that we were made to walk. And if you think historically, walking is our main form of transportation. I mean, that's obvious, right? Before there were bicycles, before there were cars, before there were buses and trains, we walked everywhere. We walked everywhere. And you see, walking is like a major milestone in human development. Like when a child first takes his first steps, oh, wow, look, he's walking. Like, it's good. And even going all the way back to the beginning of creation, remember that Adam and Eve would walk with God in the garden in the cool of the day. From the start, they would walk and talk. And Scripture uses walking as a metaphor for like a bazillion different things too. You see it all over the Bible. Walking is, holy people are said to have walked with God, right? Enoch walked with God and he was not. Noah walked with God. Abraham walked with God. It's a metaphor for their relationship to him, for their righteousness, that they walked with God. And you see it in the New Testament. Believers are to walk by faith. We're to walk in newness of life. We walk according to the Spirit. We walk in love. And if you add some of the related terms like path or way, which is like another word for way, it's like in almost every verse of the Bible. It's crazy. Like, pop open any random proverb and you'll find walk, way, or path in there like 9 times out of 10. It's everywhere in the Bible. And look, I know these are being used as metaphors in the Bible. I'm not saying that the point of those passages is to advocate walking. I think that the reason that you see it so much is because in ancient times, walking was simply how you got around. And the benefits that it conferred, I think, are sort of, there's echoes of them in those metaphors about the good, about the fellowship of walking, right? You see the fellowship aspect of walking with another person with the whole walking with God thing, and many of the other ones. But my main point is just that it's kind of weird when you think about that we were designed to walk. The Bible's replete with talking of walking. When you think about all that and you look at how much or how little we walk today in modern times, it's like we don't walk like anywhere. Like even go to the grocery store, it could be a half mile from your house. You're going to get up and get into your big old car and drive there when you could walk. And in fact, most suburb cities, things like that, aren't even designed for you to walk them. I could not walk to the store, which is less than a mile from here, without having to walk on the shoulder of a very busy road. There's it's not made for us to be able to walk. That's a whole nother subject, the walkability of towns. But my point is we sit all day and then we drive somewhere else to sit all day. And when we do exercise, we want to be productive with it, right? So we do intense stuff. If I'm going to exercise, I'm going to run, or I'm going to lift weights, or I'm going to ride a bike real hard, or I'm going to do high intensity cardio so I can most efficiently pack in the most calorie burning action into the fewest number of minutes possible. And look, I get that. I think that, we're trying to pack our schedules. We're trying to be wise with our time. We're trying to be efficient. Sure. But I think that modern life, and even especially those of us who are productivity minded, we have left a little room in our lives for the noble walk, the simple stroll, the casual amble down the road. And I think because of that, we're missing out. We're missing out on the massive benefits of just using these two legs that the Lord gave us. So what are some of the benefits of walking? I'm really hyping up walking, aren't I? I'm Walk's hype man. I'm the walk man. Sorry, Sony, don't sue me. Benefits of walking. Number one, walking's healthy. Walking helps you burn fat. You burn calories while you walk. It exercises your body, your muscles, your joints. You get the blood flowing. Your heart gets a little workout. And we sometimes do other exercise instead of walking because they're more efficient, like I said. But exercise is just one of the benefits of walking. And I don't know, I'm no exercise scientist or anything, but it makes sense to me that if our bodies were designed to walk, that using our bodies in the way they were designed has to be good for them, right? To just walk and have that be a main form of exercise that you get every single day. That makes sense to me, to use the machine as it was meant to operate. So that's the first thing. Walking is healthy. I think we all kind of know that, but sometimes we only compare the health benefits of walking to other forms of exercise. And so we say, if I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do something that's going to burn more calories faster. But I think we need to think about walking as a whole with all of its benefits, and one of those being that it also happens to be a great form of exercise. So the other benefits of walking are that walking promotes creativity. And this is not just like a subjective thing. This has been actually shown. They've done some experiments to see whether this is true or not. And I think we all kind of anecdotally believe this. When you go for a little walk, the ideas start flowing. I always bring my phone or a notepad when I go on a walk because I want to jot stuff down because, the idea, in fact, obviously, I guess the idea for this podcast episode came from a walk, but most of the blogs I write, most of the videos I do, most of the podcast episodes, they come to me, the idea, while I'm taking a walk. And that is because walking improves and promotes creativity. There was a study at Stanford a while back, I think it was 2013, 2014, and they compared walking versus sitting and its effect on creativity. Basically, everyone kind of believed anecdotally from their own experience that walking made you more creative, but they wanted to make a study to see if they could, actually demonstrate it in a controlled environment. So they grabbed 176 college students and they split them up. And some of them they had sit in a room and stare at a blank wall. Some of them they had walk outside. They even had controls where they had a group that walked on a treadmill inside facing a blank wall. And they had a group that was outside that I think they pushed them in wheelchairs. So it was like they weren't actually getting the exercise, but they were getting the visual stimuli. Anyway, too deep into the study. I'll link to it in the show notes if you really care about this study on walking. So what was the outcome? Well, they gave these people creative tasks right after they spent their time sitting or walking. And the people who had walked outdoors versus those who were sitting inside, it was double. The creative output of those who had been walking outside was double those who had to sit. Double. And that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's because it is true. What we all kind of know instinctually is when you go for a walk, it improves creativity. So another benefit of walking is, for the Christian, it increases worship. It increases worship. And what I mean is that if you go walking outside specifically, you get into God's creation. You hear, especially this time of year in the spring, you hear the birds chirping, you see the flowers budding, you smell the aroma of new life in the air and cut grass and all those different things, and you're experiencing the power and the beauty of God's creation. And to deliberately take some time each day to expose yourself to that and enjoy that is something that's you're not going to be able to help worshiping Him and saying, wow, Lord, you made this is amazing. Even just walking in the experience of using your own body, I find that to be a joyful experience. I remember I knew a guy in college and we would work out together, and he would, before, he was a Christian too, before we'd work out, he'd always pray, and he'd always pray something along the lines of, thank you, Lord, for these bodies that we get to enjoy and use to glorify you. And I always thought that was a cool way. I hadn't really thought about that even when you use your body, you get to glorify God with it, Anyway, so walking increases worship. Yes. Walking is also relaxing. You're not, it's exercise, but it's not in the same way that you do intense exercise and you kind of have to listen to like hardcore music because it's so insane. You have to put your body into a fight or flight response. It's relaxing. It's you get your heart rate up a little bit, but it's just enjoyable. And so it decreases stress. It makes you less anxious, more calm. When I'm frustrated or I'm just feeling stressed or I'm stuck on a problem, a walk is really all it takes to calm me down and bring, like I said, clarity, creativity to my problems. That's all I need. And that's why I think I want to promote walking to you, because again, our instinct, I think a lot of times, is when we run into a problem, I'm going to bang my head against the wall until I solve that problem. But often what we need is to pull back, get up, take a walk, and relax, let the creative juices flow, take our mind away from it, get our bodies in motion, and when we come back, the solution often just comes to us. So walking's relaxing. Another benefit of walking is that walking makes for the best conversations. It really does. A little walk and talk. Like I mentioned, Adam and Eve with God in the garden. You also see this in the Bible in Deuteronomy 6. One of the things it says when you're supposed to be instructing your child is to teach them these things when you walk in the way. That's one of the times you do it. That means when you're walking on the path, when you're just walking together. You're to be teaching. You're to be talking. And there's nothing quite as enjoyable as walking with a friend or with your family or with someone and just talking. It's one of the most pleasant activities, but in today's busy world, we don't make time for it. Why not just text? Why not just do a phone call instead? But I think we miss out on the joy of walking and talking together when we don't make time for it. So I'd encourage you to do that. Schedule time to take a walk with someone. Another benefit that's been for me from working at home is simply that I get to take a walk with my family some days. I love that. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to get to talk with my wife and be out there with the kids. It's just really, really nice. So yeah, walking makes for the best conversations. I mentioned making time to walk with people, but if you can't, taking phone calls on a walk is a cool way to sort of redeem the time if you're feeling unproductive. I often will schedule phone calls during my little daily loop around the neighborhood here, because I can talk to someone for half an hour while I do a little half-hour walk, and I at least get the benefit of walking and talking, which, my mind's turning. I'm really engaged with what they're saying, and I'm also getting exercise and being out in nature. So that's one way to do it. You could also do it at work. Both Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg were both known for having walking meetings where, they'd be on the way to somewhere and walk and talk. That's a really enjoyable way to work it into, if you're working in an office environment, to work that into there, get a little fresh air, or even if you don't leave the building, just take some time to get some exercise and talk. And then second to last one, benefits of walking is energizing. It's energizing. I take my walk right after lunch to kind of counteract the slump that you often feel when you're digesting and you just kind of start crashing. And when I get back from my walk, my energy and my motivation are just like through the roof. I'm fired up because not only have I gotten creative ideas, I've gotten my heart pumping, I've just, decompressed my mind a little, and I'm just like raring to go. So walking's huge productivity benefit because it gives you energy. And then finally, walking puts you in a better mood. I don't know why. I mean, it's probably a combination of all the things I just listed, but when I'm after a walk, I just feel great. I feel wonderful. I'm smiling, it's just a wonderful thing. So I just think you put all those things together. Walking's healthy. It improves your creativity, increases worship. It's relaxing. It makes for the best conversations. It's energizing, and it increases your mood. Like I said in the intro, if somebody came to you and said, I'm going to give you this pill here, how much would you pay for this pill that's going to do all those things? We'd be like, give me the pill. Give me that pill. We pay all kinds of money for it. But we don't need a drug. God has made walking free for us. And to take advantage of this productivity superpower, you just need to use your own two legs. And listen, I'll say this. I understand that there are people who can't walk because they have maybe a disability, or there's other health reasons that they can't do it. But there are other ways to take advantage of the benefits of walking, of finding ways to be outside and getting a little bit of exercise. So this is not exclusive to people who are, ambulatory. Like, all I'm saying is get out there and get moving a little bit, and you will experience incredible, incredible benefits. And this is just, I know this is kind of a random episode for a podcast on productivity, but this is just a common grace benefit that absolutely will improve your productivity, and that like nobody takes advantage of. We're too busy to take the free pill. We're too busy to engage the productivity superpower that is walking. And that's just sad. That's to our detriment. So my challenge to you would be walk more, schedule it, pick a time. Especially now, if where you live, if it's nice, it's gotten nice out where I am, and it's just a joy to go out and walk, then plan for it. Walk on your lunch break or schedule it. Insist on walking meetings with a couple people. If you work in an office, people will love you for this because everybody knows they should be getting a little more exercise. So if you say, hey, let's do a lap around the building together while we talk about that thing, people will enjoy it. Or they'll ostracize you for being a total weirdo. Either way, you come out a winner. You can walk indoors if you can't get outside, lap around the house or a building, or even walking in place is better than nothing. Put a treadmill in the basement. Just walk. Walk with your loved ones, or get a dog. That's if you want a way to force yourself to walk, get a high energy dog like a lab or something that's just going to make you do it every day, and you'll have your motivation built in right there in that little fur ball. So yeah, walk more. It's wonderful. And I just, to reiterate, just because walking is slow doesn't mean that it's inefficient, doesn't mean that it's a poor use of your time. I think that that's kind of the lie we can tell ourselves. I don't have time for a walk. No, in fact, I think the slowness is part of the benefit, especially in today's world where everything's moving so fast and we're always so stressed and so busy. it's good to schedule a little time to slow down and take advantage of all the benefits that God has given us in the simple act of walking. So, if you're looking for a little productivity boost in your life, a little practical tip, look no further than your own 2 legs. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in to this week's episode. Really appreciate you listening. Thanks especially to the patrons. I am just so blown away. I cannot believe how many there are of you now. I think it's closing in on 40, maybe it's past 40 people that are supporting this show, the newsletter, all that I'm doing, the Redeeming Productivity. I cannot thank you enough. I appreciate it so much, guys. Every little bit helps. And if you're interested, if you like the show, you like the newsletter, all that, you're interested in helping support this, head on over to patreon.com/redeemingprod, or there's also a link for other ways you can support the show. A little update for you for the true fans who've stuck around all the way to the end. I've mentioned in previous episodes that I've been working on a course on morning routines. That is all wrapped. It's all edited. I'm just working on the website for it and some of like the marketing materials. So you'll be hearing an announcement on that real soon. I'm very, very excited about that because I think it genuinely is the type of thing that can mark a before and after in a person's life in terms of productivity. The moment you implement the habit of a morning routine is the moment things really start to change for you. So I know, I'm already selling. I'm super excited for it. I'll keep you posted on that. And there'll be more updates to come very, very soon. But that is all I have for you this week. Thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing and telling your friends. And I will be here again next week. But until then, remember this: in whatever you do, do it well and do it all to the glory of God.